What is an island? An island is an area of land that is surrounded by water. We usually think of islands being found in oceans, like the Hawaiian Islands in the Pacific Ocean or Sri Lanka in the Indian Ocean. But there are also islands in lakes, rivers, and seas. Here are some examples. Manitoulin Island is found in Lake Huron, Canada. Manhattan Island, which is part of New York City, sits in the Hudson River, and there are many islands in the Mediterranean Sea like Crete, Cyprus, Malta, and Sicily. Islands versus continents. What is the difference between an island and a continent? Let's start by naming the 7 continents: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Islands are surrounded by water, but so are continents. What is the difference? Size. Continents are bigger than islands. Australia is a special case. It is one of the 7 continents, but it is also considered an island. However, it is the smallest of the 7 continents, and it is still 3 times bigger than Greenland, the largest island in the world. Types of islands. There are 6 different types of islands found around the world, and each one was made in a different way. The different types of islands are artificial islands, barrier islands, continental islands, coral islands, oceanic islands, and tidal islands. A group of closely spaced islands is called an archipelago. For example, the Florida Keys form an archipelago from the tip of the peninsula of Florida down to Key West. Sometimes groups of islands are made up of more than one type of island. Let's take a closer look at each of these types of islands. Artificial islands. The first type of island is an artificial island. An artificial island is made by human beings. Sometimes there is a natural island that someone wants to make larger. They might want to do this so there's more land to grow crops or more land to build houses. For example, companies in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, dig up sand from the bottom of the nearby Persian Gulf and then use this sand to create artificial islands. Dubai has created man-made island complexes including the Palm and the World. Barrier islands. The second type of island is a barrier island. A barrier island is long and narrow. It is located close to a coastline of a mainland, and it lies parallel to the coastline. It is called a barrier island because it acts as a barrier between the ocean and the mainland. It helps to protect the coastline from strong winds and waves. Between the barrier island and the mainland is a body of water that is either a lagoon or a sound. Hilton Head Island in South Carolina in the U.S. is one of several barrier islands along the eastern coast. Continental islands. The third type of island is a continental island. A continental island was part of a continent at one time. Later, it broke away from the continent. Another way that a continental island is formed is through erosion and weather. If there is a piece of land connected to the mainland by a narrow link, this link can erode, and an island is formed. Madagascar is an example of a continental island. It lies on the east coast of the continent of Africa and was a part of that continent before it broke away from it. Coral islands. The fourth type of island is a coral island. A coral island is a low island that was created from a coral reef. Corals are tiny marine animals that are made up of hard external skeletons. These skeletons collect one on top of the other until a coral reef is formed. Some corals grow high enough that they reach the surface of the ocean. Other materials like sand and rock help to make this into an island. Australia's Great Coral Reef is the biggest coral reef in the world, and it includes over 900 coral islands. Oceanic islands. The fifth type of island is an oceanic island. This type of island is also known as a volcanic island. An oceanic island is formed when there is a volcanic eruption on the ocean floor. When the volcano reaches the surface of the water, it breaks through it and a new island is formed. Before it is called a seamount. All of the Hawaiian Islands were formed from volcanoes. There are two active volcanoes, Mauna Loa and Kilauea, still expanding the land of Hawaii's Big Island. Tidal islands. The sixth and final type of island is a tidal island. A tidal island is a kind of continental island. It is an island that is close to the mainland and is still connected to the mainland during low tide. The narrow strip of land between the island and the mainland has not completely eroded away yet. When the tide comes in, the area between the island and the mainland becomes covered with ocean water. Mont Saint-Michel, off the coast of northern France, is a famous example of a tidal island. Famous islands. Easter Island. Easter Island is one of the most isolated islands in the world. It is located in the South Pacific Ocean, over 2,200 miles from Chile, the country that owns the island. It is a Polynesian island, and its original name is Rapa Nui. Polynesia is the large area of the Pacific that stretches from Hawaii in the north to New Zealand in the southwest, to Easter Island in the southeast. Easter Island is famous for its giant statues called moai. Recently, it was found that many of the moai are sunk underground with only their heads showing. Famous islands, the Galapagos Islands. Like Easter Island, the Galapagos Islands are isolated and they are in the Pacific Ocean. They form an archipelago of volcanic islands, 14 large ones and many more small ones. They are located 575 miles west of Ecuador, and they are owned by Ecuador. They are mostly famous for their amazing endemic wildlife that cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. Endemic animals include marine iguanas, giant tortoises, sea lions, and several special birds like the waved albatross, the Galapagos hawk, and the Galapagos penguin. Famous islands. Greenland. Greenland is the biggest island in the world. It has a total land area of 836,330 square miles. Greenland is located east of Canada, between the Arctic and the Atlantic Oceans, and is owned by Denmark. There are only a little over 56,000 people who live on this large island that is 75% covered in ice. Because the ice is so heavy, it has created a large basin in the middle of the island that lies nearly 1,000 feet below sea level. Temperatures range from about 20 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Animals include polar bears, reindeer, seals, and walruses. Famous islands. Santorini. Santorini is an island in the Aegean Sea, which is part of the Mediterranean Sea. It is one of many Greek islands, and it is 120 miles from the mainland of Greece. It is a popular tourist destination. Santorini is the largest island in an archipelago of islands that are what is left from the crater of a volcano. It is shaped like a backward C. To the west, another island, Teresia, makes up more of the rim of the crater. The slopes of Santorini are very steep. Therefore, tourists who arrive by boat travel up to the top by riding donkeys. Interesting facts. There are over 100,000 islands on Earth. With a population of over 130 million people, the Indonesian island of Java is the world's most populous island. With just 48 people living on it, Pitcairn Island in the Pacific Ocean is the least populous island. With 17,000 islands, Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world. Sitting in Tokyo Bay, Umenoshima is an island made out of garbage. More than 16% of people living on Earth live on islands. New Guinea is the second largest island in the world after Greenland, and it is the home of Puncak Jaya, the tallest mountain on an island. Interesting facts. The oldest inhabited island in the world is Ometepe Island in the middle of Lake Nicaragua in the country of Nicaragua. Desert island does not mean the island is made up of a desert landscape. It means that it is uninhabited. Sicily is the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea. Well-known countries that are archipelagos are Japan, Indonesia, the Philippines, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on an island, the Mediterranean island of Corsica. Borneo is the third largest island in the world, and it is divided between the three countries of Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Iceland is the world's biggest volcanic island.